Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hello, and welcome to this Rabbits breakdown, reaction, whatever. Tonight or today or this episode or whenever you're watching it, evening, morning, what have you, we're in season 2, episode 6, part 1, the Pompitous of Love. So, we're moving on through. I don't know at the time of recording. It may already be up, but I don't know. I've got 2 or 3 projects to edit, and one of the ones I'm working on is a listen to of Hunter S. Thompson's nonfiction novel, Kingdom of Fear. So by the time you're watching this, that may already be up. Then again, it might not be. I don't know. So if you've seen it, it's up already. And if you haven't, I haven't posted it yet. So that's kind of how that goes. So let's get on off into this thing.
14 years later, the American invasion.
We're going to need to stay sharp if we end up finding the Traveler.
Ready when you are. You believe your friend was playing rabbits?
She started seeing mysterious men in gray.
What's going to happen then? We're going to play this game.
We'll always play this game.
Should be just up ahead. Once you open the door, you can take off the blindfold.
What do you know about chaos theory?
The streets were red, then black with blood.
That still always just kind of gives me the goosebumps when I hear the red, then black with blood. You know, that's just kind of ominous.
Blood. That sounds poetic. Where are you now?
The bottom line isn't money or purpose. It's inspiration.
Are we still gonna have sex?
I'm afraid not.
And I still love that whole setup. That's from season 1. You can go back and go through the videos and go back to season 1 and send one of the first 3 or 4 episodes, or you could go to the Rabbits website and start listening to all of them without my rambling. So, and I have links for all the Rabbits stuff, merch, all kinds of Rabbit stuff, Public Radio Alliance, Minnow Meets Well, all that down in the description. So we'll go with that.
A lot of people don't understand the power they're dealing with. I need you to promise me you'll only use these cards for good.
And getting back to the path cards, I've done a couple black tapes like back to back. So, and there's some really interesting parallels, like with the ghost chasing and the Mandela effect type stuff that kind of gets kind of wonky, and sometimes there are parts that my brain just doesn't deal well with.
Some people call me the space cowboy. Yeah. Some call me the gangster of love. Some people call me Maurice, because I speak of the Pompitous of love.
Love that song, by the way. I've always loved that song.
The Pompitous of love. Yeah, I have no idea either. These are the opening lyrics to The Joker, a song by the Steve Miller Band from 1973. I was just out of university and working in advertising. I had an easy job. I could come and go as I pleased.
Yeah, I like jobs like that. I've had jobs, not that where I could come and go as I pleased, but I had positioned myself a couple times while working with TDC where I could kind of pick and choose what I wanted to do, but it is what it is.
I wasn't making as much money as I was worth, but I could pretty much get away with anything. In other words,
and that is one of them. Sometimes that is actually a lot better than getting good pay.
I was settling, stuck in an easy rut. I wanted something more, but I was scared to take the plunge and make a meaningful change. One night, I was driving home listening to the radio in my car, and the song called The Joker by the Steve Miller Band came on the radio. I hadn't heard that song for ages. It was something my parents used to sing as they danced around our house when I was a kid.
Yeah, I love it when somebody who's a lot younger than I am discovers a song that was old when I was a child, and they get this, this appreciation for it, or sometimes it's a disgust depending on the circumstances in which they were exposed to the song.
I turned off my car, got out, and walked up the stairs to my front door. I set my shopping bags down and moved to open the door when I saw something on the ground next to my groceries. Sitting there, on my front step, was a card. It was The Joker from a deck of bicycle playing cards.
Now, I would do that to somebody I knew. If I was going to surprise them, like a surprise visit, and I showed up and I knew they weren't going to be home for a while, I'd do something like that. Stick a playing card, a Joker or something like that, where they would spot it and see how long it took them to figure it out.
I just stared at it for a moment. What could it possibly mean? The next day, I thought about that card a lot. My sister told me Carl Jung believed these small but meaningful coincidences meant you were on the right path. And the more you saw them, the more you needed to respect them as markers.
Yeah, I have to agree with that to a certain degree, because I have found, especially if I'm researching something or if I'm looking something up or just intently interested in something, that I will, as I get more and more into it, I'll see different things and more associations and inspirations and stuff. It's kind of interesting.
Answers to questions you're not even sure you've been asking or actually had the conscious strength to ask. Meaningful or not, I forgot about that coincidence for the rest of the day. But later, on my way home, I was stopped at a light, thinking about that card. What if it did mean something? There was no way I could possibly know.
Yeah, there is that question, is or isn't it, that always lurks in the back of one's mind.
As I sat there idling, I asked the universe to answer the question.
big mistake because the universe has one hell of a sense of humor. Just putting that out there, people.
I knew I wasn't going to get an answer, but what the hell? A couple of seconds later, as I pulled away from the stoplight, I slammed on the brakes. I'd almost hit a couple of pedestrians who had run into the intersection against the light. It was 2 teenage girls. It was Halloween, and they were both dressed up. One of them, the one who turned and gave me the finger as they ran, was wearing the purple and green costume of the Joker from the Batman comics.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
From the Public Radio Alliance and Minnow Beats Whale, you're listening to Rabbits. I'm Riley Bennett. Stay with us.
We're like 4.5 minutes in now. We're having the opening credits. It kind of reminds me of some of the streaming shows on like Disney Plus or HBO Max, or Max, I think they just call it now, where you'll get 5-10 minutes of show, then the opening credits, then the rest of the show.
Separating biology and the behavioral sciences from architecture is a fatal mistake.
Yeah, the music. It's probably been a couple episodes since I've commented on the music.
Synchronicity. Analytical psychologist Carl Jung coined that term to describe temporally coincident occurrences.
See, I've heard it pronounced Carl Jung, with a kind of a J sound to the Y, and Carl Jung. So I'm not sure which one's correct or if they're both correct. I didn't know.
Of acausal events. In Jung's book titled Synchronicity, an Acausal Connecting Principle, Jung describes a reality where meaningful coincidences are part of the innate fabric of that reality. According to Jung, these acausal connections are not only manifestations of some type of paranormal occurrence, but may also be taken as proof that the paranormal exists.
Or doesn't exist. I don't know. I enjoy paranormal stuff. I enjoy paranormal stories, but IRL, I really don't think it would exist, to be honest with you.
Synchronicity was a principle Jung used to describe a governing dynamic that encompassed the entirety of human existence. Jung didn't see life as a series of random events, but rather a deeply connected order he referred to as unus mundus.
Yeah, Jung is, it's worth reading him, Nietzsche. There's one, Vivek Slasher, I can't pronounce it. He's another good one to read. Even Freud is worth reading.
Jung believed that events may be connected by causality, but they might also be connected by a significantly deeper meaning. And these events connected by a deeper meaning need not have a clear explanation, as far as causality is concerned.
Basically, they're related, but it's too hard to explain. Right, I don't feel like explaining it.
Jung believed that synchronicities were similar to dreams, that they carried messages and provided guidance, that they were connected to what he referred to as a collective unconscious.
Now, string theory, or at least some of the stuff that I've read by Michio Kaku, kind of, mathematically hints that there might be a giant collective unconsciousness, that might actually be something that is provable, or not really not provable at the level of science that we have evolved to, but it may be something that we just figure out how to tap into, or to prove of its existence sometime in the future.
There have been others, of course. Carlos Castaneda followed something based on intuition that he referred to as the path with heart. Michael Harner, author of The Way of the Shaman, describes synchronicities as a kind of homing beacon, analogous to a radio directional signal.
Yeah, that's... If I remember, it's been a while since I've read anything on string theory, and what I have read is limited, mainly by Michio Kaku, and that sounds familiar. I don't know if it was a hypothesis he put out or somebody else put out. But that train of logic sounds familiar,
indicating that the right procedures and methods are being employed. So, are these synchronicities real? And perhaps more importantly, do they actually work?
And we will go ahead and cut this off here. This episode, and we'll see what unfolds in the rest of the season and the rest of this episode. So until next time, be a good human, be good to other humans. Peace.
Hey, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?